The church is a sacred place for many faithful of Catholicism. Inside them, respect and silence are vital elements for all who visit them. However, perhaps because of its high concentration of spirituality or mere coincidence, things happen here that could hardly be observed elsewhere. Strange interactions that will cause your worst nightmares. Beware of the places on this list. Today I'll show you a side of the church you will surely not believe. I hope you're ready for this because this is Breakman and it's time to take a break. Today we present the 6 strangest events captured in churches. Enjoy. Number 6. Although in many places it's forbidden to take cameras, inside churches it is quite normal, especially when you visit a popular church in other countries. The architecture of these places and their renowned colored windows take the attention of anyone, and that's exactly what this man was recording in this video. A long time had passed before a user with a lot of time on YouTube realized this recording had captured more than just the architecture of this place. In the moment when this man records the organ of the church, a strange ethereal being passes through the scene. What I'm about to show you is so subtle that in fact the only way you could see it is by applying a considerable amount of filters on it. We completely discard a shadow. Likewise, we also discard a distortion in the pixels. What do you think it could be? Without filters, it is almost invisible to see. However, look again. Number 5. If you've ever engaged in a discussion with someone who's a believer in God, he probably told you should talk to a priest, that the man who is spiritualized and close to God will open your eyes. For many believers, priests are almost sacred people and show how to live if they dedicated their whole life to their religion. However, what you will see in this video is an unfortunate fact that makes us see that even the most sacred priests are simply men, and this time, pretty perverted men. This video was captured during a mass by one of the parishioners sitting in the front row. In it, you see the priest in front of a mass full of people when suddenly, the movement of his hand allows us to easily conclude that he was touching himself. There are those who say that he was only playing with his hands, that no one could be so perverted on this level to perform this action in mass, but hey, worse things have been known to happen. Number 4. The tape you're about to see is quite strange for various reasons, and the hypothesis that can be drawn from it makes a lot of sense. First, a little context. This video is a VHS recording of a wedding in Mexico. The person who was recording was entertained by focus on any person that seemed interesting as well as this child. However, in a moment he achieves a shot that reveals something very strange in the background. It seems to be an object that is covered in the last seat, but when the cameraman approaches the child as he moves his head, we can see that in fact it is a person. By applying light effects, you can observe what appears to be a haggard face of someone covered by a veil. Some people believe that it is a bride who died tragically in a car accident just after getting married and leaving the same church. There are other people who believe that it was just a wedding guest who was simply wearing a white veil. The strange thing is, the cameraman was focused on everything interesting, however did not focus on the strange woman in the veil. Did he not see her until after the shot? Number 3. No one knows the origin of this video, nor the location of the church where it was taken. It is a wedding like any other, one of the few moments in the life of people where one wants everything to go perfect. However, what happened here might make this marriage become a lot darker memory. In this video, we can see a member of the family record this memorable event until suddenly, what just happened? Who was that guy? Why did it seem like half of his face was missing, and why was no guest surprised? Unfortunately, the appearance of this mysterious man will be more than a sign of bad luck for several people in this ceremony. Number 2. Maybe you already know about the Jim Jones cult, better known as the Cult of People. In short, this person used religion to mix his radical ideas of socialism. A dangerous combination that served to attract hundreds of faithful people who were completely overwhelmed by his gift of speech. The people who followed him began to form a kind of admiration, then transformed into fascination, which ended in total ideology. By the end of his life, he convinced, or rather forced 900 people to take their own life. Within the walls of this religious cult was the largest mass suicide in history, but we are not here to describe that event, but rather to discuss footage that was recorded in one of its ceremonies, where it can be clearly noted that not only his faithful followers visit those places. A few strange and terrifying bright eyes appear on the scene. Many believe that they are famous shadow people, or maybe demons that fed on the true intentions of this horrible preacher. Some people who managed to escape mass suicide claimed they were attracted to the cult in a way they could not understand. Maybe these strange shapes were the reason. Number 1. What lies in this position did not happen in a normal church, but rather in the main hall of the Vatican. Here the current pope sits down to give his most important conferences. Maybe what I'll show you next has nothing wrong, but if you're religious, you'll probably find a fairly accurate answer in what we have to see here. However, the appearance of it has left all those who observed it speechless. It is the Throne of Resurrection, a huge sculpture behind the chair where the pope gives his lectures. It represents the resurrection of Christ emerging from the sea of chaos. However, it is something gruesome and macabre. At first glance, without knowing its history, it seems like the Pope is sitting at the gates of hell. But that's not all, since the real strange event about this sculpture comes next. If you reflect the image on itself, right in the middle, the sculpture takes an incredible form. If you draw a couple obvious lines, you'll see this, what is clearly the face of Satan, and if you take the other end and flip it over, you can even see the supposed five-pointed star. It is somewhat elaborate, but let me say that the coincidences are abysmal. However, this channel is not about conspiracies, nor is it dedicated on criticizing the church. We will let the conclusions up to you. I hope to see you in the comments because we've already come to the end. Please share with your friends so they'll also be surprised by these events. This is Breakman, and that was your break.